The home opener is only a day away as third-ranked Florida State gets ready to host Charleston Southern, 12:30 p.m. kickoff. I'm Lane Hurt along with Tim Lenefelt, your Nole Insiders. Before we get to Charleston Southern, Tim, huge win for the Noles, defeating Ole Miss 45-34. How does this play into what the team and fans kind of wanted to see as goals for this season?
Well, to start off with, it means that all your goals are still on the table. Obviously, it's only been one game, but if Florida State were to have lost that game, you're in a situation where you might be able to still make a run at the college football playoff with one loss, but your margin for error is zero. You certainly wouldn't be able to lose another game. And so it's nice to not have that hanging over you with 11 games left on your schedule.
23 points in 6 minutes and 13 seconds, I think it was. But now moving on, next game, Charleston Southern Buccaneers. Here's a little bit about the Bucs. They're in the Big South Conference, 1-1 on the season, ranked number 7 in the FCS. They average 287 rush yards a game and have 29 pass attempts total on the season. And they give up only 15.5 points per game. Tim, I don't think you can get a more opposite team than what Ole Miss just was.
Yeah, Ole Miss really by the second half, the run game was out of their playbook. They didn't run the ball at all, committed completely to the pass. Charleston Southern, like you said, they're going to run. They run the triple option. They do it in kind of a unique way. They run it primarily out of the shotgun. So think Georgia Tech, but out of the shotgun a little bit. Obviously, there are some differences in the details of those offenses, but the point is they're going to be running the ball, running it often, and their MO is to run as much as possible and chew the clock. So I would expect a quick game, lots of running clock in it every time Charleston Southern has the ball. And it'll be a really good test for Florida State's defense, especially that defensive line that struggled a bit in the first half against Ole Miss, played really well in the second half. This is going to be a completely different test for DeMarcus Walker and those guys, really the front seven, in slowing down the run attack at Charleston Southern.
After a 4-hour game on Monday night, I think a quicker game would make some fans happy.
Maybe so.
Our stat of the week, like we said, courtesy of Pro Football Focus. Who else are we going to talk about but number 12, DeAndre Francois. Great opening game. Inside the numbers a little bit, Pro Football Focus gave him a 71.6 rating. That's out of 100. When he wasn't pressured, he was brilliant. 23 of 32, 72% completion percentage for 289 and a touchdown. Pressured, though, I think you'd expect that from a redshirt freshman quarterback. 10 of 20, 50%, one touchdown, but no turnovers. And I think as you see these numbers, that's the big thing to take out of that is not only was he great, but he took care of the ball.
Yeah, I think the thing that jumped out most and what I read into the numbers that Pro Football Focus was kind enough to provide us was that DeAndre was remarkably consistent regardless of whether he was under pressure, not under pressure, blitzed or not blitzed. His completion percentage when he was blitzed was actually just a touch higher than it was when he wasn't blitzed, but all told was right around the mid-60s, and they kind of noted that you would like to see him maybe perform a little bit better when not under pressure, but the fact that he's able to be so consistent regardless can present a pretty big challenge for defenses because it kind of presents the question of, well, how do we attack this guy? If he's equally effective against the blitz or if we're dropping back into coverage, there's not a lot of great options there.
Moving on now to our matchup of the week. We're going a little different this week. It's Florida State versus the Calendar.
I hear those calendars are tough.
Very tough. The Seminoles, they didn't get home until Tuesday morning about 4 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Practice for the first time on Wednesday. It's a short week in a big physical game against Ole Miss. They got banged up a little bit. And yes, Charleston Southern's an FCS team, but they're a very good FCS team. They took North Dakota State, the 4-time defending FCS national champs, to overtime in their own building. This is not a team that you can take lightly.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. And look, this is a unique circumstance. As far as I can tell, it's only that I remember it's happened once where Florida State played on a Monday and then played again the following Saturday. At least the most recent time was in 2009. Played Miami on a Monday night, lost the heartbreaker, if you recall, and then played Jacksonville State on Saturday and really kind of struggled in that game. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen on Saturday. There were some other circumstances going on that year as well. But just it goes to show you when you have such a short week to prepare because, as Jimbo Fisher noted, when you get back on Monday, Tuesday you have to rest. You have to give your guys a day off. So now you have Wednesday as your first day of practice, Thursday, which is usually the light walkthrough day for Florida State, and then Friday, which you don't really know what you can do before the day of the game. And to make matters even more complicated, instead of a night game on Saturday, this game's at 12:30, and you can bet on a short week those extra hours, those potential 6-7 hours between a noon game and a 7 game or an 8 game, they make a difference and they count.
There you have it, Seminole fans. It's the Noles and the Bucks, 12:30 on Saturday. Make sure you stick with Nole Insiders. We'll have your 3 keys to victory on game day. And of course, Tim Linnefelt has his first and 10 up on the website already, so make sure you check that out. A lot of great information in there. And we will have highlights, analysis, everything you need post-game as Florida State takes on Charleston Southern. So for Tim Linnefelt, I'm Lane Hurt. Go Noles.